And we're underway with a turn one swamp into a Thoughtseize. What does Blake have?
Oh, this isn't
And
what?
wait a second, we
Wait
are
a
looking
minute.
at the wrong. We have got
Okay.
something
Sorry about that,
wrong
guys.
here. He certainly, someone named Blake Chapman played a Mono Black Devotion list because we've got it in
I
front
feel
of us.
like I'm getting trolled.
Yeah. Well, let's
We'll
take a look
figure
at
out
what
what's
he's got
going
here.
on. Yeah, let's.
Looks like we've got a red-green monsters list happening here. A red-green devotion. We've got Burning Tree Emissary. We've got Domri. It looks like we've got Pelucranos and an Arbor Colossus there, alongside 3 lands.
And what's
So,
the last?
now
Arbor
it's-
Colossus.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If his name's Dylan Sparkman, then we definitely have the wrong deck list
Yep.
because we've got David Bauer and Blake Chapman.
Okay.
We're
Well,
working
we
on that for
will
you.
get that fixed and figure out what's going on. In the meantime, let's stay with the action. This is clearly a Mahara-style devotion deck,
Yeah,
especially
you
the
take
Arbor
the Domri
Colossus.
right there.
Is a big giveaway. And yeah.
The Domri goes to the graveyard. Thoughtseize making quick work. And now Dylan's up. So we know he has at least 3 lands in place or in hand. He's going to play a Stomping Ground, which I don't believe was in his hand. So
It was at the very, very
was
top.
It was at the top. Okay.
He might have set it aside, kind of, as some people do when you get Thoughtseized. You put the lands to the side because they're not in consideration.
So a second swamp from David, and he passes back. Turn 2, Burning Tree Emissary from Dylan.
Into nothing.
Into nothing. It is just a bear.
Yeah, he didn't have very much. He had a Pelucranos and an Arbor Colossus,
Yeah.
so unless he drew a 2-drop. But build up the devotion. Red, green, hybrid.
So a Temple of Deceit comes down, and David scries his top card to the bottom of the library. Passes back to Dylan with no play, and looks like Burning Tree Emissary is going to bring some beats, knocking David to 16 after he took 2 damage from that Thoughtseize on turn 1. What has Dylan got for us in turn 3? He did have a Domri. He lost it to the Thoughtseize. He's got a Voyaging Satyr.
An unfortunate sequence of draws there as he draws the Voyaging Satyr the turn after he plays Burning Tree Emissary. Could have gotten that into play for free and then had access to 4 mana this turn to play a Pelucranos.
Yeah. And as for David, he knows Pelucranos is incoming any minute now, so he's going to have to find a way.
Whip of Erebos with no creatures on the battlefield or in the graveyard for David Bauer. Not an ideal turn 4.
I guess if that's all he had to do with his turn, it may as well play a whip, but it is going to have it's very low impact at this point in the game.
But he most likely has some removal spells. Doesn't want to use a removal spell on either of these. I think he's setting up for a Grey Merchant of Asphodel next turn to drain for 4.
So the Emissary and the Satyr come in, knock David to 13, and Pelucranos joins the party.
Well, now things are going to get interesting. You see Dylan has also drawn Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, along with a Voyaging Satyr, so Nykthos can make 5 green mana, and then Dylan can untap it with the Satyr, and then use 2 of that mana to activate it again to get to 8 total. And he could have access to 9 with the lands he has in play.
So he's going to go ahead and tap 5, play that Grey Merchant. As you mentioned, he's going to drain for 4. Going to go back up to 17. And of course, the whip grants lifelink.
Yeah, lifelink, so you can't just get in there with your smaller guys. Pelucranos, of course, can get in there. Could also fight or pseudo-fight with the monstrous trigger. Can generate enough mana, I believe, now to do X equals 4, green XX. I need 9 mana, yeah, should be enough.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, he can
get 5 off of the Nykthos, am I?
Yeah, he's got green there, green there, and a single green, 5. Here we go, looks like that's what he's doing, 5. Adds it up. Use the Satyr.
Right, Satyr to untap the Nykthos, so he goes up to 6. Oh, he's going to play a Domri here.
So he could fight that way.
Right, there's a way to fight. So Domri comes in. He has 3 floating still. He does fight away the Grey Merchant with the Domri.
3 green floating, so he can still untap And then tap it again, have 1 floating, and now he gets an extra mana off the Domri. So 6, he can go up to 7 mana.
Yeah, what does he
play the
got
Arbor Colossus?
Yeah. So he untaps the Nykthos and taps his Stomping Ground, so he should have 4 floating. Does that sound right?
I end up with he can have 6 total mana if he taps the Nykthos again.
Right, if he has 4 if he has 4 floating, he would tap the Nykthos, and he would have 2 floating plus whatever Nykthos gives him, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, maybe I'm off there. Either way, it was enough for a Garrick Caller of Beasts, or Beats by Garrick. If you've watched this week's The Magic Show, you will have seen that reference. And Garrick is going to bring some friends.
Okay, let's see what the friends are. Just a Burning Tree Emissary.
Just brings a Burning Tree Emissary.
Not impressive.
So 6 mana Planeswalker comes into play with 4 loyalty, +1 to reveal the top 5 cards of your library, and you get all of the creatures. In this case, all of the creatures was just a Burning Tree Emissary. Of course, you have the -3 ability, which allows you to cheat on a lot of mana potentially, with being able to put a green creature from your hand onto the battlefield. I'm surprised he didn't do that to get the Arbor Colossus into play, but he may be planning to do that next turn.
The Burning Tree Emissary is still enough, though, because it provides 2 devotion. It's free,
huge.
And then you get the 2 devotion on Nykthos, Voyaging Satyr. That should be enough mana here that Polukranos is basically lethal. And you cannot really put a blocker into play, because Polukranos, when he makes it monstrous, is going to kill that blocker. So now David Bauer, all of a sudden, yeah, look at that. Ugh.
Yeah, you can see the expression on his face is pretty much exactly the situation,
sour,
the predicament he's in. So, you know, a lot of creatures on the other side of the board, 2 Planeswalkers to deal with, and he does not have a lot of time to find answers. Now, we haven't had a good look at David's hand.
He has to have a removal spell by now.
Yeah, you'd think he's
but
cast
maybe it's
only
a Devour Flesh, which is
pretty
somewhat
awkward. Yeah.
Useless.
How many Devour Fleshes? 3 main.
Yeah, they've been going up to 3 in the main deck. Most of these mono black devotions.
Got 4 Heroes Downfall and 3 Ultimate Price, none of which we've seen yet.
Okay, David Bauer facing down Polukranos, Voyaging
like
Satyr, and Burning Tree Emissary.
Swamp, and I'm not sure what the mystery card is.
Read that card. It's going to kill you.
Yeah, it doesn't have hexproof.
Next turn.
If you've got removal, and it's a Hero's Downfall, so I think that it's a Hero's Downfall. So that's the question here. Geez, do I kill Garrick? Do I kill Domri? Do I kill Polukranos? What do I kill?
Okay, so whips out the Gray Merchant.
So that's going to gain him 4.
Is that going to be enough?
Yeah, I don't know that that's enough. It's going to drain Dylan. It's going to put David up to 16. He can
attack.
Oh yeah, he should attack, considering he's going to lose that guy anyway. He can't hold him back to block.
Attack the Domri. Take out Domri. Attack you?
Okay. Yeah, I like attacking Domri there as well. The lifelink still happens.
Yeah.
Either way, so
I guess
David
he
should be up
attacked Dylan.
18. Yeah, I think he attacked Dylan, considering neither the Planeswalkers took any damage. So yeah, David up to 18.
And tap down too low for heroes to cast Hero's Downfall. I think it's just pour all mana into Polukranos, and I think he can make enough.
And this time, Garrick brings all the beats, 4 creatures out of the top 5 cards. 2 Voyaging Satyrs. I believe there was an additional Polukranos and a Sylvan Caryatid, if I saw that correctly.
Yeah, I saw Sam Stoddard last weekend in Seattle, and he said it is pronounced Sylvan Caryatid.
Caryatid, I see. Okay, I will try to adjust for that.
He could just be trolling me.
I feel like I've heard others say Caryatid as well, and I wasn't sure because I always put the emphasis on a different syllable.
Very nice. You got me to chuckle. I must be tired, because usually I can keep a much straighter face.
So Dylan's going to go ahead and add a bunch of dudes to the board. He's got a 2nd copy of Burning Tree Emissary into a 2nd copy of Voyaging Satyr, and he's going to swing with Pelucranos and Burning Tree Emissary.
I'm just
And
going to
Dylan
assume
is
that
just
this
gonna-
is enough mana
Yeah.
and hope that Dylan
Dylan's
just tells us, or
adding-
tells David, and David scoops.
adding a
because
billion mana and then untapping the Nykthos and adding about half a billion.
The Nykthos taps for 11,
That's insane.
and then you untap it, and then use 2 of it, so you have 9, and then you have 11 again, so 20, so you have green. Yeah.
So did he
not
just
enough.
attack? Yeah, he just attacked for 16. It looks like. Right, we've got. Yeah, the Burning Tree Emissary should have David now at 2, in concert with that Pelucranos.
Okay, I guess the Gray Merchant was enough. I just didn't want to do all that counting. I
Yeah,
guess
there's a lot of.
David probably did, and he did it much faster than I would have.
Yeah, while we were looking at him making faces, he was actually doing the math. So, Gray Merchant of Asphodel, number 2 for David, and that's just going to drain for 4. Now, this time, I don't think it's going to put him out of range. He will be able to chump block.
No, but the Domri's going to fight.
Yeah.
Yes, he
I mean,
really
look,
should have
he-
attacked.
Yeah, he could have dealt with that Domri last turn.
That 2 damage. Now Dylan is currently at 6. He would have been at 8.
He's not going to cloud shift the Gray Merchant here, I hope.
If he had, I mean, next turn, if he survives this turn, he can activate the whip, drain for another 4, and then attack for 2. But it's unlikely that he would survive this turn. Yeah.
Yeah, what is he going to do to get
That's
out of
it.
this? Is there anything? Nothing. Yeah, if he had dealt with that Domri last turn, he very likely would have had at least another turn to get out of it. But Dylan Sparkman takes down David Bauer in Game 1 here in our final round of the StarCityGames.com Standard Open. Coming to you guys live from Indianapolis, I'm Joey Pasco in the booth with Ricky Hayashi. And yeah, Green Red Devotion making short work of that mono black deck there. It kind of looked embarrassing for the mono black side of things because I don't know, like it did not look like mono black was in it at all. And maybe it was.
I don't think it was embarrassing. I think it's actually impressive that he survived that long.
That's
against
fair. Okay,
the
that's a good
monstrous
point.
Pelucranos.
Yeah, embarrassing is definitely the wrong word.
And it
but
seems like he could have sequenced that better. He had a Hero's Downfall in his hand. I don't know if he had cast it instead of whipping a Gray Merchant if he would have lived. And of course, like he could have taken out the Domri and been in a position to have a Gray Merchant to chump block at least that turn.
yeah, and the Hero's Downfall could have taken out either the Garrick or the Pelucranos.
Okay.
So, yeah, he had some options there that he didn't go with. He did not draw much removal. It was 1 Hero's Downfall, I think, was all of
and
the
he,
removal
and
that
he never
he
had
saw.
a chance to cast it.
Yeah, so as for sideboards, he's got an additional copy of Devour Flesh. He's got 2 Farika's Cure. He's got 3 Lifebane Zombies, 2 Pack Rats, a Pithing Needle, 3 Duress, a Dark Betrayal, a Ratchet Bomb, and an Erebos. So Lifebane Zombies definitely coming in. He's got 3 copies of that, able to strip his opponent's hand of green creatures. And I kind of like bringing in more removal here, just bring in that extra Devour Flesh, maybe even bring in the Farika's Cure, just because it's a Devotion deck, being able to take out those Burning Tree Emissaries and Voyaging Satyr that's going to untap Nykthos. As much as they're not doing all that much damage to you, as far as like the Burning Tree and the Voyaging Satyr are not powerhouses as far as what they attack for, what they represent to the Devotion deck, I think is good enough to want to answer them with Farika's Cure. And also, you know, that's another way for you to gain a little bit of life to put yourself out of range.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing about Ratchet Bomb for the same reasons.
Oh, yeah.
It takes out multiples of Burning Tree Emissaries and Voyaging Satyrs, which you saw Dylan Sparkman had 2 of each there in that game, and really cutting out the Devotion engine, taking out those cheap creatures that both provide Devotion and then can untap Nykthos. Would be very useful for David Bauer. It's only a single Ratchet Bomb. There's a lot of singletons here in his sideboard. He has 1 Erebos God of the Dead to go along with 1 in his main deck. Dark Betrayal's not coming in. Pithing Needle, I think Needle is fine as another answer to
To the
either a
Planeswalkers.
Planeswalker or a creature becoming monstrous.
Very good point. It's just a one of, but yeah, that's a possible bring. You get
Bring in enough one-ofs and it adds up.
Yeah.
Eventually you'll draw something, and if they're
Yeah, for
all
sure.
semi-answers to the things you're afraid of, I like that better than non-answers.
Yeah, Pack Rat. I mean, it's just been so good in so many other matchups. I'm not sure how it fares here against a deck that is able
Gets
to.
outclassed.
Yeah, it's able to get a lot of guys on board, even if they're small. They're still able to get in the way of Pack Rats, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know that Pack Rat is the card that you want here.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I wouldn't want to get into a situation where you've been developing your Pack Rat army and then a Pelucranos just eats 2 or 3 of them
Right.
at once.
And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but Pelucranos can divide up the damage, and so you say there are 4 rats, you can deal like 4 to 1, 3 to 1, 2 to 1.
Yeah, you
1,
can
and
you
it
can
just chains
change
and kill
you
them.
can chain the damage down.
Right.
You're just required to, for each target, to divide at least 1 point of damage to it. So yeah, that's certainly a situation where if David Bauer had 3 rats, he could deal 3, 2, and 1,
Yeah.
and they would die kind of in sequence as the others
Right. Even though
reduce
they're
the power.
right, they're
power
all
toughness.
3/3s, but the 3/3 dies, making them 2/2s, which makes the one with 2 damage on it die, which makes the one with 1 damage on it now die because it becomes a 1/1. So it's kind of an interesting little interaction there.
Good point, Joey. I love doing shenanigans like that with spells like Fireball.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a funny little interaction that I think we may be seeing more of if Pelucranos keeps seeing as much play, and Pack Rat, of course, sticks in the way it has for these past couple of weeks.
So Dylan Sparkman won that game, and his sideboard contains 2 Wasteland Vipers. That's a nice.
Yeah.
So that's you attack with your Pelucranos, you Blood Rush the Wasteland Viper to give it Death Touch, and then you activate the monstrous. You only have to deal 1 damage to each creature with that Death Touch, and just wipe stuff out.
It's kind of a little cunning Spark Mage Basilisk Collar interaction there.
Yeah. He's also got 2 copies of Rurik Thar the Unbound. Lots of abilities.
Interesting. So I was going to say Rurik Thar probably doesn't come in, but there are a lot of non-creature spells on the other side of the board.
Yeah, it could. You could bring them in, and then it will most likely eat something like a Hero's Downfall, but then
it'll cost them 6 life.
Take 6.
Yeah. Rurik Thar, a scary, scary card.
To your dome. Dylan also has 1 copy of Witch Stalker.
Yeah, Witch Stalker is a card we haven't seen a heck of a lot of. It is kind of the great maybe not great grandson, maybe just the grandson of Great Sable Stag.
I think he's gonna certainly bring that in.
I mean, it's hexproof, and then of course it's good against blue or black. Whenever an opponent casts a blue or black spell during your turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it's a 3/3. So a 3/3 hexproof for 3 is already pretty decent. Especially against a deck that has a lot of targeted removal. And yeah, if David's doing it during Dylan's turn, that Witch Stalker actually gets pretty big.
Not a bad singleton to have, and it's double green. It's green, green 1, so provides devotion.
Yeah.
In the 3-drop spot.
And then he's got some Skylashers and Mistcutter Hydras for the blue decks.
Yep. And Nylea's Disciple, that's the devotion gain life, 3/3, and Mizium, 3 copies of Mizium Mortars. So if Dylan's afraid of Pack Rat for whatever reason, I don't think he should be. I mean, Mizium Mortars certainly another thing he could have.
And looks Dylan has kept his 7, I believe, and David mulliganing here to 6.
Okay, both of these players 8 and 1 in this 10-round standard open. Win and in, lose and
maybe we'll see,
sneak in. Maybe, but I don't know.
8-2 doesn't seem completely off base to make it in.
You know, probably not though. It's a 699 player standard open, and the cut to the 11th round is somewhere right around there, somewhere in the 700s. So I think you need a better record than X and 2 to make top 8 of this one, but we'll find out. Dylan Sparkman up a game to make that top 8. And now David Bauer evaluating a 6-card hand. There
he
you
doesn't
go.
look happy. Could be bluffing.
Yeah, I was gonna use the word showboating. Not exactly showboating for the camera, but maybe for his opponent.
He's going to
To
keep it.
trick him into thinking that the hand is subpar. Thoughtseize.
And Thoughtseize shows us
Satyr?
Yeah, 3 copies of Voyaging Satyr, an Elvish Mystic, and 3 lands, 2 Stomping Grounds, and a Forest. That is an interesting keep. Now, obviously, you have the turn 1 Mystic, the turn 2 Voyaging Satyr. It's an explosive hand, but what does it explode into? He's going to need some help from the top of his deck to actually make this at all threatening.
Those are actually Temple of Abandons, the red.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
land.
They are not Stomping Grounds. They are Temple of Abandons.
Yep.
So he's going to take the turn 1 Mystic. Yeah, take the Mystic. Make sure to remove Dylan's turn 1 play.
But now that locks him into being able to use a Temple of Abandon on turn 1 to scry, basically for free. And there he goes. He's got 3 Voyaging Satyrs.
He's going to bottom whatever that was on top, and he passes back to David. David untaps, draws a Swamp for the turn. He's going to play that, and he's got a Pack Rat. So Pack Rat is a card he at least kept in 1 copy, because there it is. And,
and fantastic here against the hand he just saw.
Absolutely.
Voyaging Satyr.
Voyaging Satyr is the play. Passes back to David. David untaps, draws a 2nd copy of Thoughtseize. He's going to play a Temple of Deceit here. Take a look at what's on top. He decides he wants to put it on the bottom. The fact that he only has access to 2 mana here, I think he's going to go with that other Thoughtseize. What have you drawn since? And it looks like just some lands. So I'll take another copy of Voyaging Satyr.
Yeah, that's Stomping Grounds he's drawn. So another Voyaging Satyr goes away. Dylan Sparkman with 1 on the battlefield, 1 in the hand, and 1 in the graveyard.
Now, the thing about discard spells, they have no effect on the top of your library or your opponent's library. So Dylan scries and keeps whatever it is on top. And there's a Domri Rad. That was not available to take from the Thoughtseize just a moment ago. And Polukranos on top. Wow.
What a sequence there. So he
Seriously.
scried with the temple, saw the creature, played the Domri and +1, and got himself a World Eater. Will it be a Rat Eater? David Bauer missed making a rat last turn because he had to put the Temple of Deceit into play untapped.
Or he had to put it into play tapped.
Yeah, sorry, tapped.
Yeah, so this is, I mean, he can't take out the Domri here. He can make a rat and knock Domri to 2, but that's not really enough, and Polukranos is coming to play pretty soon. Now, there is a Desecration Demon in David's hand. So what he looks like he's going to do is go ahead and attack with the Pack Rat. And wait a second. Oh, okay. No, he's actually
pitching the
he's
demon
pitching
here.
the demon. Yeah, interesting. I kind of thought he was going to cast it.
Now he's thinking about it. Maybe Desecration Demon would be better on this board than Pack Rat.
Yeah, he's going to pitch the Underworld Connections.
He's going to hang on to the demon for now and reevaluate his position.
So Pack Rat brings a token that is a copy of Pack Rat. That means its name is Pack Rat, but it is also a token. Plays his 4th land and passes back, and we're going to see Polukranos this turn unless Dylan has drawn something more impressive. But
I can't see how it could be more impressive than Polukranos on this board.
Yeah.
You want to get that down, that giant monster, to be able to fight these Pack Rats either with the Domri ability or Polukranos' own ability if Dylan is able to untap with it and play.
There you see Polukranos.
I think we're going to see him use the Domri to fight one of the Pack Rats just to keep them down.
And no, he wants to look, and it is not a creature. No rewards on the top of his deck. And he passes back. All right, David. That Pack Rat should also be untapped. Yeah, fixes that. And David has another, well, he has a Swamp and a Desecration Demon in hand.
Yeah, he just can't get through with these Pack Rats now. So yeah, I think Dylan's play was fine of +1ing Domri because the Polukranos itself acts as a blocker that's going to keep the Pack Rats off of Domri's back.
Sure.
Most likely we'll be able to use the fight ability next turn and keep Domri. And then can follow up with Pelucranos' monstrous ability. We'll see how much mana he can make on his next turn.
Yeah,
And if he draws a Nykthos.
Wow, yeah, things can get out of hand very quick. He does have the Voyaging Satyr already in play. So looks like David's going to go ahead and cast that Desecration Demon, and he's going to hold the swamp for a Pack Rat activation at some later point. So David passes back to Dylan. Dylan untaps. Both players at a pretty healthy life total here in game 2. Dylan up again.
Oh, wow.
Off the top. I think that was off the top. Nykthos. Shrine to Nyx, and this could really get ugly fast. 1, 2, 3, 4 devotion.
So it's +1 mana, but with the Voyaging Satyr, that's, you know, +2 total. Well, plus a lot more. So he makes 4. 2 to untap, another 4, 6.
So he's got up to 8?
7, 8. Yeah.
So
that is enough. Green. Yeah, that is enough to wipe out both Pack Rats here, right? With the Pelucranos monstrous ability. So he gets to 8 total. Yeah, and then green +3 for each X. Deals 2 to one and 1 to the other. No? Okay, he's fighting instead with Domri, so he monstrous for 3 and then dealt 3 to 1 rat, and now he's fighting with the Domri. Oh no, he fought the Desecration Demon with the Domri.
Interesting. I mean, I guess you want to get that Desecration Demon off the table, but
he's left a rat now. He had the ability to kill all of those creatures. Pelucranos' ability could have killed both the rats. It was for 3. He could have dealt 2 and 1, and as you said, the chaining damage would have taken them both out.
And then he still could have fought.
Yeah.
And still, so he would have had the same situation, except the rat wouldn't have been there. Now the rat takes out Domri.
Yeah.
And David catches a break here after his opponent is able to really chain together a series of excellent draws with Domri into Pelucranos into Nykthos. David down a game here to Dylan's green-red devotion deck and may be able to claw his way back in. There is a second copy of Domri, of course, resolves against the mono black deck.
This is just continuously off the top too. It's been the last few turns.
Seems that way, yeah. So Domri finds Sylvan Caryatid.
Gonna cast that. I'm confused about what he's doing. So he casts Domri.
He's got right now 5 lands tapped. So. Yeah, not quite sure what's happening with the mana there.
It seems fine. Like this was all he was gonna cast anyway, right?
I believe so.
And attacks for 1. It's just gonna make a rat and eat your Voyaging Satyr. So Dylan Sparkman here making a series of small errors.
Yeah, a series of unfortunate events. And yeah, David possibly be able to get back into this. Now I believe, what was the draw there? Looks like a Lifebane zombie, but I can't imagine David doesn't want that on the table.
So now the Pack Rats are going to go after Domri Raid. The Sylvan Caryatid is going to block 1. And we'll see, he's going to activate the Pack Rat to make them 3/3. So the Caryatid dies. Domri takes 3, goes down to 1. Cannot fight, even if Dylan finds some kind of monster.
And likely loses to the Domri next turn.
Yeah, all he can really do is +1 and look.
Yeah, and is it anything? No.
Nothing.
So not a creature. So Domri likely not long for the table. Voyaging Satyr comes down. And if that's all Dylan can muster for the turn, David is in the position to take advantage of this little kind of lull in the action on the other side of the board. Now David with 3 copies of Pack Rat. 3 token copies of Pack Rat.
So we are here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series featuring the Invitational. We're covering the Standard Open portion of Saturday now. Ricky Hayashi and Joey Pasco. You can join the conversation on Twitter at hashtag SCGINVI, and we would certainly appreciate hearing from you guys to make sure that we were correct in our assertion with the earlier game states that Dylan Sparkman could have taken out all of the pack rats with the Pelucranos monstrous trigger fighting them.
Yeah, they were just 2-2s.
I believe that's what should have happened, or could have happened.
So, is David ignoring Domri?
At this point, sure. Dylan does not have a creature on the board to fight with. The top card of his library was not a creature. If the next one is,
and it's not. So yeah, actually I like that. At first I was thinking, yeah, Dylan's just going to scoop him up, and we're going to go to game 3 here with 20 minutes left in the round.
Look at that.
At first, my inclination is, hey, deal with Domri, But yeah, knowing that the top card of his library was not a creature, because Dylan couldn't draw it off Domri, David felt pretty safe to ignore it, at least for another turn. Says, all right, put your Domri up to 3. I can easily kill it.
And the pack rats are big enough. They're 4/4s at that point. Just deal some damage. Next turn, they're 5/5s.
Yeah.
Should be dead. He could really only find one more creature on the top of his library with a Domri +1, and that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, so I take it back. I think pack rat excellent in this match.
I think I need to take it back. I think you were advocating for pack rat, at least to some degree, and I kind of took you off that path. It dominated that game. It won it for David Bauer. I was wrong. Although, I mean, Dylan should have been able to deal with them in the way that I suggested with the Pelucranos. So I'll give myself a half credit back.
Sure, that'll work. Yeah, I think if Dylan had made...
And then round down to 0.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not intuitive how that works. You're not really... you're thinking you're looking at 2 2/2s, and I can do 3. Actually, he couldn't make the X equal 4, right? Because he only had 8 mana available. So he couldn't monstrous for 4.
So
he
it's
could only
green
monstrous
plus
for 3.
X3.
Right, so he could monstrous for 3. So he looks across the table and he sees 2 2/2s, and he thinks, I guess I just do 3 to one of the rats in case... I don't know if David even had mana untapped at the time. I don't think he did, but, I guess he... he looks across the table, sees 2 2/2s, and goes, well, I can only kill one of them, so I'll do 3 to one of them.
It makes sense, and, you'll like this. Andrew Q's Twitter handle is at Affinity for Green, Joey. The number 4, Affinity for Green. So your brother of a different guild, perhaps?
Brother
Simic
from
brother?
Another color? Is that
yeah. And he says, from what I've seen, you guys were right. I think Dylan just messed up. And we're not saying this to, pile on to Dylan. I personally just wanted to confirm that was something, it could have easily been an interaction that I missed. I've missed a couple of things in the past. So thank you very much, Andrew, for chiming in and letting us know that you think that he could have gotten that game with the Pelucranos.
Yeah, it's not something I was aware of on my own. I believe it came up either at the GP last week or during either Pro Tour or SCG Live coverage. I don't remember where I heard of it, but I'm pretty sure I heard it mentioned on coverage that Pelucranos can do that to pack rats. I'm going to guess it was last week because that's when pack rat first started really seeing play in Standard. So I'm going to guess it was last week at the GP Louisville coverage where it was mentioned. So, it's not obvious that that's a possibility. And, it's going to come up more and more. All you guys watching now know that if you've got a Pelucranos and your opponent's got pack rats, split up the damage a bit. You can chain them down because they do shrink. As soon as you kill one of them, it's the other one shrinks. So.
Yeah, and Ryan Gray is also confirming that he believes we were correct as well. He's at James Van Dr. Tweet. I'm sorry, Ryan, you're going to have to change your Twitter handle to Affinity for Orzhov, given that your name is Gray and the theme that we're developing here.
I think it's James Vander Tweet. As in, like James Vanderbeek? I don't know. That's what I'm getting out of that.
You know what? I'm going to allow that as a fan of Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
And as a fan of that commercial. I can't remember. It's like a Carfax or some commercial where the person is shopping for a car. And he says, well, that was really easy. He said, well, did you want more drama? Yes, I wanted more drama. Or were you expecting more? He's like, yeah. He says, okay, hey, James, come in here. And James Vanderbeek walks into the car dealership office. And he says, I don't want Your life. The only line is
Varsity Blues.
Exactly. The only line we all remember from Varsity Blues, a pretty terrible high school football movie.
I don't know. I think it's classic. It may be terrible, but it's also classic. It's one of those ones where I saw it, back in the 90s, and then I rewatched it maybe a year or two ago, and it was like I couldn't stop watching it. It's so typical for the high school football type of movie, and of course, like, you hate John Voight. By the end of it, you're like, wow, what a jerk.
I don't know. How can you hate John Voight? Or
Watch
John Voight's
Varsity
car.
Blues. Watch Varsity Blues, and you'll hate it.
Okay, so David Bauer, we can only say that he survived that game. I mean,
Yeah.
he won the game, but
He caught a break there. So
he caught a break.
he
Yeah, I
did-
like that term.
it looked great for David at the beginning of the game, where he leads on a Thoughtseize and sees just a bunch of mana dudes and a couple of lands in his opponent's hand. He takes an Elvish Mystic, sticking his opponent with just 3 Voyaging Satyr and 3 lands. So it looks good for David. He draws a second Thoughtseize. He looks, and it's still just mana dorks and land. His opponent top decks Domri, which finds Pelucranos. So
Yeah.
Dylan
And
getting
then
into the game, right?
Nykthos the
And
turn
then the
after that to be able
Nykthos,
to
right.
activate for so much more.
Yeah, so the window was open for Dylan to get into the game there, and David was able to catch a break by the choice of monstrous targets.
Well, Brian Fahrenkopf says the regular 1/1 rat token being used may have been confusing as well. That's certainly a possibility.
Now, this is something we were just talking about before we went live. I said,
yeah, you
Wizards,
did.
Wizards should make a Pack Rat token, because Pack Rat makes a token that is a copy of Pack Rat, right? It's not a rat token. I mean, technically it's a creature type rat, but make a token. It's got different artwork that has like the token frame, but still has the Pack Rat text. And I mean, Pack Rat's seeing so much play, that would be awesome. But I guess it's a little late now if we're past Return to Ravnica, but maybe it's some sort of promo they could give out.
I wonder if Star City Games would be allowed to make a Pack Rat token.
Maybe, and you know what, it was suggested. I want to say it was LSV, but I can't confirm that maybe Jerry, if he were to win, make a Pack Rat token as his
that would be a nice
invitational.
parting gift to all of us.
Or maybe it was BBD, actually, that he was suggesting it to. I can't remember. Either way, we're underway, and Voyaging Satyr is the first play of the game onto the battlefield, and a Devour Flesh from David Bauer is going to take out that Satyr and keep Dylan from the explosive opening that he was probably hoping for. So with just 3 lands, he's going to go ahead and cast Burning Tree Emissary. Emissary resolves, and he has nothing to follow it up with, so it's just a Grizzly Bear here. David Bauer now on his 3rd turn plays his 3rd Swamp and has a Night Veil Spectre. This is a card we have yet to see in this particular match. David Bauer unable to capitalize much on his opponent's cards that he's able to steal. But
just
he still can
a
play lands.
Grizzly Bear? Burning Tree Emissary is not just a Grizzly Bear.
It was
makes,
just then.
It makes mana off
That's
of
true.
Nykthos, which is now in play. It's double hybrid.
So
Makes
the
all kinds
devotion-
of mana.
The devotion is relevant, so you're right about that. In the meantime, we've got yet another Planeswalker. Xenagos the Reveler has hit the board, comes into play with 3 loyalty, and his 0 ability is to put a 2/2 red and green Satyr creature token with haste onto the battlefield.
Yes, now it is time
So-
to party.
It looks like Xenagos is doing like the metal sign a little bit.
Exactly, and that 2/2 Satyr token has haste, but can't get in because Night Veil Spectre is a 2/3.
Yeah, kind of hanging out in the way there. So David Bauer's turn here.
Now I'm starting to get excited. Anytime there's a Night Veil Spectre, I get really excited about what's going to come off the opponent's library and whether David Bauer will be able to eventually cast it.
Yeah.
You know, this mono black deck, he's splashing the blue for Temple of Deceit, so no access to red or green mana, but oh my goodness, if he flips over some Stomping Grounds or Temple of Abandons.
Yeah, he's going to need some lands to do it, but and so that'll take a little luck.
Yeah, so never play your land before attacking with Night Veil Spectre. Oh, he's going to attack Xenagos.
Yeah, he's thinking about it. He taps Xenagos, and he says, "Wait a second, I'm not gonna do this yet." So he does play a land, and he's gonna go ahead and play Lifebane Zombie here, pre-combat.
Okay, so he's staying back on defense then with the Night Veil Spectre.
Caleb
Ooh,
Shievelbein,
yeah.
report to the open stage.
Polis.
Caleb Shievelbein,
Polis Crusher, take that. Discard that, please. Another monstrous creature. And keeps Garrick Caller of Beasts. So there you see Polish Crusher. That's a big foot that's about to step on you.
Yeah.
Every person who ever looks at this card is about to get stepped on. Kind of reminiscent of Shivan Dragon, the original.
Yeah, very potent against cards like, say, Underworld Connections. It's not only well, it's protection from enchantments. That's not the part, but the monstrous part of it is able to deal with enchantments pretty easily. So a Pelucranos there is found off of the Garrick Caller of Beasts, freshly cast by Dylan Sparkman. So he's got quite a team of Planeswalkers working for him over there.
Yeah, Xenagos and Garrick working together.
And Dylan's going to attack here with the Satyr and the Burning Tree Emissary. Devotion right now appears to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green pips.
And he attacks with both because flying and intimidate, he cannot block either of these creatures. So Planeswalker's at the mercy of David Bauer's team. He just has to decide what he wants to do.
Yeah, does he take out Garrick here? With
he can only kill one or the other.
Yeah.
What he can do is take out Xenagos with the Lifebane Zombie, hit Dylan with the Nightveil Spectre, but I think he's going for Garrick.
Looks like Garrick is gone.
That's really the biggest threat, especially after we saw the Pelucranos revealed.
We would love for you to submit your deck to the standard open stage.
And
please
we've got a Pack Rat.
Yeah, I'm a believer now, not only in the power of Pack Rat in this matchup, but in your theory that we need to have Pack Rat tokens specially made. And Brandon Mays on Twitter says, Desecration Demon and Pack Rat used to be bulk rares, and now roll a tier 1 list. Love it. Not only that, Brandon.
We need the following
It's Brandon. I'm sorry, I probably said Brandon there. So is Nightveil Spectre. That used to be a bulk rare.
Another bulk rare that has emerged from the bulk bin to the top tables. And Pelucranos now on the table. Dylan Sparkman is presenting threat after threat. And a Domri to follow it up, replacing the Garrick. Not quite the same as Garrick, but still a threat unto himself.
You made fun of Burning Tree Emissary, just a Grizzly Bear, but look at how much mana it is creating thanks to Nykthos, or Nykthos is creating thanks to the Emissary. And now Domi Raid looks. What are we? So he activated Domri's +1. And now we are pausing the action here to confirm something or another.
Yeah, and he looks and does not find a creature.
It's not a creature. I think maybe they were asking about Xenagos, because Xenagos was at 2 loyalty and is now at 3, so he activated the ability that generates mana. It is not a mana ability. Planeswalker loyalty abilities are not eligible to be mana abilities because you have to activate it as a sorcery.
Interesting. So I'm wondering, is David holding maybe a Hero's Downfall? It's been pointed out by a couple people on Twitter that he had access to Mutavault last turn as well. That could have been could have attacked the Xenagos and killed it. So he could have taken out both Planeswalker. Yeah, the Mutavault was kind of, you know, piled in with the lands. And
was it not summoning sick?
I don't think it must.
People are telling us.
A couple people mentioned it. So
Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, and it looks like it is a Desecration Demon being pitched to the Pack Rat to make a second copy.
The thing is, Xenagos is not a huge threat on its own. Yes, it can make a lot of mana potentially, but I think David wanted to protect his Pack Rat right there. The ability to make another one.
Yeah, so right now he's got 2 evasive creatures that can't be blocked, as he had last turn. But those Planeswalkers have a little too much loyalty. He can kill the Xenagos with the Lifebane Zombie if he wants. He can take the Nightveil Spectre and the Lifebane Zombie at Domri if he wants to take that out.
Yeah, trying to figure this out here. So the Domri raid is at 4 loyalty. You want to either kill it or knock it down to 1 so that you cannot activate the fight ability.
And it looks like actually David Bauer has found an ultimate price. He's going to take out that Pelucranos right now before it can even have the opportunity to become monstrous, before Dylan has access to all that mana that's going to make it monstrous. And the fight ability not looking so threatening on the Domri at this point without a fatty on the board to fight with.
He's still trying to figure out if he can take out both planeswalkers. I don't think it's possible, even if he activates the Mutavault.
Yeah, the Mutavault just trades with a Satyr probably.
Yeah, because well, it would trade. If it trades, a pack rat would get through and deal 3 damage. So he could send the 2 evasive guys at Domri Raid and all of his rats, including the Mutavault at Xenagos.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I apologize. The rats would be 3/3, and the Mutavault would add to that total. So you're right.
So he's not gonna attack with the Mutavault, perhaps hoping that Dylan will miss the interaction.
Well, he could make a
He
rat.
can still make a rat, yeah.
He can make a rat, or he can make the Mutavault into a rat.
Yeah.
Activate the Mutavault to pump the rats.
This looks like a double block on one of the rats. So Dylan gonna let his Xenagos die. It looks like the rats are attacking Xenagos and the evasive guys are attacking Domri.
So another rat added to the board. David Bauer activating his pack rat ability, discarding a Temple of Deceit. So right now there appear to be just 3 rats. Mutavault not active right now. The blockers are ordered so that Burning Tree Emissary takes the damage from the rat.
Yeah, most definitely, to deny the devotion.
And so that leaves Dylan Sparkman with a Satyr. Wow. Wow. Okay, so Nightveil Spectre just stole a Nykthos off the top of Dylan Sparkman's library. That's the one land you really want to hit.
Yeah. Now he can do everything. Although running out of cards because he's been making rats.
Well, yeah. But it's a pretty good land to hit. You can play it, and you can use it.
So Power9 Collectibles asks on Twitter, he is at Power9CO. Where can we find deck lists of these guys? We will have the top 16 deck lists from the Standard Open posted on StarCityGames.com very shortly after the Swiss rounds conclude. Once we know who the top 16 are, one of these gentlemen certainly will be among them.
And Domri ticks up for Dylan. I didn't quite see if he found anything. He passes back to David. David now swinging in with everything besides the Mutavault. He's got the Nightveil Spectre attacking. He's got 2 rats, both 2/2 at this point, and a Lifebane zombie that can't be blocked.
And all the mana in the world. How much does he have? 7 right now he can make off Nykthos. And he could even make a rat before that to make it 8 if he wanted.
5, 6, 7, yes.
But then, like I said, he's running out of cards.
And he's got an ultimate price and a swamp.
So he's going to use the 7 to kill.
He's going to make 2 rats. Yeah, he's just not even going to use the ultimate price. He's going to use it to make a rat. Yeah, sure. He's not going to hold the ultimate price to use later is my point. And he's going to go ahead and looks like, guessing he just activated Mutavault to make another rat, and that's why it's off to the side.
Yeah.
And 1, 2, 3,
5
4, 5
rats.
rats.
And
when the dust settles,
steals a Garrick. Can't cast it.
Yeah, Garrick off the top. Can't cast it at the moment, but he could cast it next turn off of Nykthos.
Well, no, he needs green. And that's it, yeah. Pack rats dominating. I was wrong about pack rats.
Wow.
You were right. And David was right to keep them in. They dominated both those games that he won to take this match 2-1 over Dylan Sparkman.